Hello, and welcome back to another comic series AMA. This month we're going to focus on questions centered on Rwby. For a quick summary for anyone who may not have heard of the series, Rwby was an animated web series about a team of girls studying to become huntresses to fight back against the forces of Grimm. I followed this series for quite a while, though fell off somewhere around volume 7. The first set of questions comes from Aquasun, first of which is, how did you get into Rwby? It was a long time ago now, so I'm not 100% sure on this, but I want to say that someone I was following on Tumblr had started to watch the show and was sharing things about it, and when I saw the red trailer, I decided to check it out. I hopped on pretty early, as far as I recall. I believe there were just a couple of Volume 1's episodes out already, that or I got into it during the break before Volume 2. I remember for sure seeing a few of Volume 2's episodes as they were coming out, so it was definitely before then. I just can't remember if I saw some of Volume 1's coming out. The next question, who are your favorite characters in the show? I will admit that I kind of started to not like the characters as much as the show went on and on. That said, I do very much like Oscar and Penny, though with Penny I soured a little bit on her. Just with how she's used in later volumes. I still love her personality and character, but like the plot decisions on how to position her, I didn't really agree with. And perhaps surprisingly to those who know the show, I actually really like Professor Oobleck. His moment explaining to Rwby why he became a huntsman in Volume 2 just really made me love him even more than I already did, because he was already funny with his super speed, quirks, and quips. He also never overstayed his welcome, and he just made a good impression as a supporting cast teacher and then let the girls have their moments. Next question. As an artist and creative person, what would you say are the strengths and weaknesses of the series? Is there anything you would change? Oh boy. For the strengths, I would say that the potential in the world is one of the greatest strengths of the show. So many times something would come up and I'd just instinctively think, oh man, that's cool. It also would very easily set up interesting conflicts for characters to overcome, just via things like semblances and environments. Unfortunately, one of the biggest weaknesses of the show is just failing to live up to that potential at nearly every turn. Most everything always feels underbaked, but for the most part you can keep faith up because there's a lot of heart and passion and everybody working on it, and there is still that great potential. But as time goes on more and more, it gets harder to hold out hope. As for what I would change, honestly, a lot of different things throughout the volumes. I could probably do a whole series of videos of comics on things I would change, but I won't, just because I haven't really kept up with the show in a long time anyway, so that I just wouldn't have the motivation to. I think if I had to pick one key thing I would change, though, it would be to have the cast trimmed down. Another huge weakness of the show is that there's so many characters, yet barely any of them actually get proper development, least of all the core of Team Rwby. I do know that the creators have said that they wish they had called it Remnants instead of Team Rwby, so that, it didn't come off as oh, they're the main people, but it's they are the main characters, that just is a fact. They are the core, people that we follow, and they should be developed well, which they kind of weren't. Next question. What would you say makes a good Rwby episode? In my gut, the first thing to say was has a fight, but honestly, as I thought more, I realized a bunch of my favorite episodes actually don't have fights in them. I think it'd be more accurate to say it has some sort of action. So in total, I think a good Rwby episode has a contained goal, some action, and some character moments. As an example, Volume 2's episode, A Minor Hiccup, as I just did there, has the goal of the girls going out on the town to collect some information. There's some action at the end when Rwby and Penny get away from some Atlas soldiers and nearly get hit by a truck. And some character moments include Weiss gearing herself up to talk to her family, or Penny's reveal to Rwby at the end. And the last question from Aquasun is, as usual, what are your favorite comics for this series? And as usual, there's a lot of good ones, but let's see. The comic about Rwby and Weiss switching weapons is a fun one. I really like the one that has, it really likes acupuncture as the punchline. The comic about Rwby taking a nap during Volume 5's climax was very cathartic for my general feelings on the finale. And it's spoilery with the context, but the comic that ends with "Yang, I'm a bandit" is just so snappy I can't not love it. The next set of questions and the last set of questions for this month is from Hannah Page. The first of which is, do you think the show has a particularly weak season? If so, which one? Volume 5, hands down. There's a reason that it has the most comics, and that's because I had a lot to say about what happened in Volume 5, or what lack of happened. It has a few good moments, but a lot of it is pretty bogged down and very oddly paced, and just overall very first draft feeling. Next question, have you watched anything else made by Rooster Teeth? Unless Rwby Chibi counts, then no. Next question, what do you think your defining color would be in Rwby? In my in real life comics, the color I use for myself tends to be blue with a tinge of like purpley, like a little bit of an indigo. The next question from Hannah, and the last question overall, is what was your favorite weapon in the series? I actually really like Penny's swords with the strings. The way they float around and can connect to things and shoot out a beam is super cool. And that is all the questions for this month. So I'm going to switch on over to the end screen here. And you can see my patrons scrolling on by along with their NPCs that you can see in comics. If you're interested in asking a question or any of the other rewards that come along with supporting me, check out the link in my Patreon in the description. Rewards include things like seeing comics before they're posted publicly, behind-the-scenes drawings, voting on which comic series will be featured next month, and more. Even without pledging, you can have access to things like preview panels, coloring pages when they come out, occasionally some of the lower tier rewards is a little taste of what pledging can get you. And, that one of those tastes might be asking a question in one of these. So thank you to everyone who asked a question and anyone who watched this video. The support means a lot to me, so I really do enjoy seeing all the questions and, stuff for the series that we do. But thank you, and see you next month. Bye!